Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to pass through an AMD GPU to your Hackintosh the new way. So in this scenario we're going to be using macOS Ventura running the new way, which is using Proxmox, the virtualization platform, which basically has a lot of advantages like backups, templates, snapshots and much more. But you can watch my advantages and disadvantages video that is on my channel. So you can see here that I've got the RX 570, 8GB. This is actually the RX 580 2048 SP card that I've had to do a VBIOS flash to get working. If you want to see a video on how to do that, please do give this video a like and give us a comment down below saying that you want to see that video. But you can see I've got it all up and running now, and I'm literally recording the HDMI output using a capture card to your screen right now. So I'm first going to go through how to pass it through, and then we'll do a few benchmarks just to see what this card can actually do through macOS. So let's get on with it. So you can see we're on the Proxmox virtual environment web interface. This is the VM that's running. You can see on the hardware section I've got the 580 pass-through, or 570 as we'll call it in this video, as we've patched the VBIOS for it to be that. But we've got it passed through. We've got all functions ROM bar and primary GPU checked. For you, primary GPU might not work when checked. Visit the video on my channel on how to get that primary GPU checkbox working. And I might make an updated video as well on newer BIOS because I have recently just got a new motherboard that some of the settings are in different locations. But basically, we're going to need to enable something called IOMMU. So, to enable that, you want to go onto my website, go to Hackintosh, scroll down and look for the PCI GPU pass-through guide that my Discord moderator Tor made, and go through these steps. I won't go through them in this video, but once you've gone through all the steps, you should basically have IOMMU working. IOMMU allows the VM direct access to your hardware, such as obviously adding cards, USB devices. If you wanted to pass through a PCIe, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card to your macOS installation, obviously making sure it's supported. Same with the GPUs, it needs to be supported to work. But once you've done all that, it's pretty easy. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically show you how to set one up from scratch. So like you've just installed one of our templates, or you've just got to the macOS desktop. So let me create a virtual machine from one of our templates, and I'll meet you on the desktop of that VM. So I've just restored a template. All we're going to do is set the display to none, and then I'll just remove this for you to just show you. Go to add PCI device, and then do raw device on Proxmox V8. For you, otherwise, you just click device. Do raw device, then click device, and then select your GPU. Mine's this one, not the audio device. We do not need to pass through the audio device. If you click on that, select all functions, ROM bar, and primary GPU, then click add. Then for USB, I've got pass-through USB port. I choose my keyboard and mouse combo, and then use USB 3 ticked. Once you've done, if I click on start now, you should see something will appear on the screen very shortly. So you can see we get the Proxmox logo. Basically, once we've actually, sometimes it'll boot a couple of times first, but once we're in the OpenCore boot menu, we want to press enter on the default value once we've set up macOS, and it'll start to load. Now, for me, it'll take me up to the setup screen, but for you, it might just take you straight to the desktop. But basically, I'm just going to stop the video here, set it up until we get to the desktop, and then I'll show you how to do the necessary patches for your system. If you're using a native GPU, which you can check out in our GPU guide that I'll leave in the description below, if you're using a native GPU, you don't need to patch anything. But I'll just show you in a moment when I've set up macOS. So you can see we're on the desktop now. All you need is OpenCore configurator and HSV getting started ISO. You can download this from the description below, but the existing HSV templates already have this here in locations. Click HSV get started, and I just want you to drag that get started folder to the desktop. You can go through the README if you don't want to hear me talk, and that'll walk through what EFI you need for what system. But because it's an AMD GPU today, we don't really need much. So I'll just wait for this to copy, and then I'll be back when we're ready to actually make the EFI and things like that. Just a note as well, on this section on the Proxmox web interface, you can see the IDE 2 and SATA 0 volumes. Once we've moved the EFI over, we can actually remove these, but I'll go on them later in the video. So it's now copied, so basically all we need to do is double click into that folder, then go to EFIs, double click, and then you get 3 EFI options. For me, I've got a native GPU. So if you got an AMD 5000 or 6000 series card, so like the 6900 XT or the 5400, stuff like that, you'd use this EFI. If you've got any other native GPU, such as the RX 480, I'll just show you the actual page, and then you know what cards are native. So on my website here, go to Hackintosh, scroll down, GPU compatibility checker. You can see here, you've got an abundance of cards. So, see this, RX 580 2048 SP, that's what I've got, but I've reflashed the VBIOS to make it an RX 570, which you'll see later in the video. But these are native cards, so you don't require any patching. Where with the 5000 and 6000 series cards, you can just use the other EFI folder, which is next to the native ones. But I've got a native GPU, so all you're going to do is double click on that zip file. It'll automatically extract, and you'll get a folder. This folder, if you open it, double clicking, the EFI folder, just drag that to the desktop. Once you've dragged that to the desktop, go all the way back, double click into Tools, right click on OpenCore Configurator and click on Open. Once opened, on the menu bar, go to Tools, Mount EFI, wait for it to load, and then the top one labelled AppleLink Verte All Block Media, click Mount Partition, enter your password for your user. Apologies, I'm using a small keyboard and mouse here, apologies for the speed. But once you've done that, click Open Partition. This partition will be empty, let's just minimize this for ease. But this partition, the EFI partition, you want to drag the EFI folder into that. That should look just like that, with no difference. You can always do a cleanup by names to just make it aligned. But you should have an EFI partition with an EFI folder inside of it. Once you do, all you want to do is go back to that Mount EFI section, click Unmount Partition. You don't have to do this, but I just find it better because then you know it's saved. Unmount the partition. It'll take a minute to unmount, but once it's unmounted, we'll mount it again just to make sure that EFI folder's there. So if I click Mount again, then click Open Partition, you can see that EFI folder's there. So if I unmount now, we're ready to reboot. But instead of rebooting, we're going to actually just click Shut Down, because we're going to need to remove that IDE 2 and the SATA drive to make it boot off the EFI that we've just ported over. So I'll just wait for this to unmount, as it's taking quite a minute. So it's unmounted, so if we scroll to the top, Apple logo, shut down. I'm unticking reopen apps because I don't like that, and click shut down. Now, once it's shut down, we'll leave it a moment. Once it's shut down, you want to go to the Proxmox web interface, the RDE2 drive, which is a HSV boot ISO, click detach, yes, and say with the SATA 0 drive, detach, yes. Now we strongly recommend making a backup or a snapshot on the clean installation. So if you click on snapshots, take snapshot, and then just name it clean install. Do that, wait for it a moment, done. That's a snapshot. You can always do a backup as well. You click backup now and it'll back up. You just have to select the correct storage. Once you've done that, if we go and click start on the virtual machine again, we should be booting standalone without the need of the HSV boot ISO. So let's see if it brings us to the OpenCore menu. It indeed does, and you shouldn't have to press enter this time. It should do it itself, which it indeed has after 5 seconds. So you can customize the EFI folder. If you want to use Apple ID and stuff, you need to generate a new SM BIOS, but all of that is in that README file in the Getting Started folder. So I'll meet you on the desktop, and then I'll show you about this Mac. So we're on the desktop, so we'll go to about this Mac. You'll see that the RX 570 8GB is there. And if we go to system information, if we wanted to, it'd show up as fully supported. So if I just go up here and do system information, then head to displays, which I will do. Displays, you can see it's supported through Metal 2 support, which is brilliant. That's native. But these folders on the desktop, what I recommend you do is put them in like the documents folder or something in a new folder. I'm not going to name it because it's just going to take me a while. But you just select them both and then just move them into that folder. This just declutters your desktop. I don't like having icons and files on the desktop on macOS. I do in Windows, but not on macOS. So let's run some benchmarks. So I'm going to run Cinebench, and then I'm going to run the Haven benchmark. So let me download them, and then we'll run them. Also, I meant Geekbench, not Cinebench. So if I click download, then for macOS, Geekbench 6 we're going to run, so the latest one. So yeah, I don't know why I'm getting slow download speeds on that, but I'm going to wait for that to download. Seems like it's picking up now, but I'll wait for that to download. We'll run that, and then I'll download the Haven benchmark. So here we are in Geekbench 6. So I'm going to go to the GPU section. We're going to run the OpenCL one first, and then we'll run the Metal. So let's run the OpenCL benchmark now. So you can see we've got a score of 32,901, which is great for this card, of course. So we're going to run the Metal version now. So I'm just going to change the API to Metal, and then run this test again. So you can see for the Metal score we got 38,488, which again is brilliant. It makes me laugh a bit because I used to use the GT630 in my Hackintosh build, which only got a score of 1,300. So it's really an upgrade for me buying this card, and I'm really chuffed to bits with it. So now we're going to run the Haven benchmark, and then I'm just going to add a disclaimer later on in the video. So here it is. I've got the quality set to medium here, anti-aliasing off and full screen. So I'm just going to leave it at what it's set. and we'll see how it performs. So if we click run, give it a few moments to load in, and then we'll see what it's like. I'm guessing I just need to get a full screen mod. There we go, it's gone in full screen. So we'll see what it gets FPS wise. It's not really a test that would be included. I just thought I would for gaming. So we're getting 90 something FPS. I can't really see on this screen, but it's definitely over 60 here, which is bloody brilliant. Yeah, around 90 FPS, if I can see that right. 100 there. It's really, really good this. Where my old GPU barely pushed 35, around that area at a push. If I bump the quality up to high, let's see what that does to the frame rate. And then we'll see if we can bump it up to ultra. So we're pushing 55 FPS now. Oh, 75. So high 60s, early 70s there. Oh, it's going up to 80 now. I doubt, see there's a little bit of glitch in there. I doubt we'll be able to do ultra, but we'll give it a try now. So this is apparently ultra. Doesn't look much different to me. But you can see 60, so it's brilliant. I won't do gaming tests, but if you want to see some gaming tests on this card in Windows, please do let me know in the comments and give this video a like. Also, please consider subscribing as we're really close to 4,000 subscribers. Yeah, it's brilliant. So I'll quit out of that. Okay, and then we'll see how well it's run. So it's run brilliant. So around 100 FPS in medium, high 75, ultra early 70s, maybe 71, 72. So it's really great. That's great for 1080p gaming as well. You won't be gaming on macOS anyway, but you get my drift. It's just a benchmark. So you can see that I've got sound on this card. So to make it where you can get sound, it's a really simple fix. All you do, go over to the web interface and tick PCI Express. So Tor just alerted me of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have included it in the video, but I thought I had to include this into the video. So if you want HDMI output audio, then please do tick PCI Express. You also get a cool little widget at the top that says power off card. Very weird, but yeah, that's how you do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, obviously please leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Please subscribe as it's free. It doesn't cost you much, and it really helps me get on that trending page with Hackintosh. If you subscribe, we're obviously near 4,000 subscribers, so it'll be great to hit that milestone very soon. Obviously, if you need any more help, you can visit the Discord. We've just surpassed 1,000 members, which is absolutely great. I'm really chuffed to bits with it. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.